This is episode 48, Just Go, the Power of Personal Momentum. Welcome to Alive by Design. My name is Blake Mallon, and we're here to bring you inspiring people, principles, and practices to help you wake up, move toward your meant to, and feel fully alive. Open your mind and let's dive in. Hey guys, before you listen to the podcast, I just want to drop in and say I appreciate you for being here, and I'm super excited about this new Walk With Me series. These are solo episodes where I take some time in the middle of my morning run through the Santa Monica Mountains to share some inspired ideas and thoughts on my mind and heart. If you want to join me for any of these conversations live, you can catch me many mornings on my Facebook page, facebook.com/BlakeMallon.page. Would love to see you there. Love you guys. Enjoy the episode. Walk with me for a few minutes. You ever see someone that's like totally on fire? You guys know what I mean by on fire, just like absolutely crushing it, like in a state where you can like see and almost feel like their energy. You can call it the vibe, the frequency, the charisma. It's like electric, right? You know, sometimes we say, man, that person's on fire. That person's, crushing it right now. They're in the zone. They're in the flow. A lot of times we use those words in sports, right? When someone gets in the zone or in the flow. But it also relates to, life, whether it be career or business. When you find somebody that's just like totally alive and on fire. How many of you know what I'm talking about? I call it a personal momentum. I think momentum is a great way to kind of capture all of those words and all of those feelings. But a personal momentum. A momentum is where like an energy builds more energy. Emotion creates more motion. And it is something, guys, that's real, even though you can't maybe see it. We all feel it. And I do believe when you go into a personal momentum, it does create something about you, call it a charisma, call it a confidence, that attracts opportunity, attracts the right people, attracts more momentum. And that's the beautiful thing about the state is it's almost like the momentum creates more momentum, and almost takes on a life of its own and puts you in a place where you can collapse time that it takes to accomplish something. You can accelerate results or outcomes that you're looking for. It's a beautiful thing. And I want to talk about this personal momentum and 5 things, simple things that we can do immediately to put ourselves in position to go into a personal momentum for the remainder of this year. So why personal momentum? Because I feel like, number one, we're kind of going into the home stretch here of 2020. Crazy year. And I think it's a good time to reevaluate where we're at, what we want, and what we got to do to go get it while there's still time. And also because I feel like a lot of people right now are in a place where we need a spark. Like we need something new. We need a Control-Alt-Delete. That's old school computer terms for like reset, restart, reboot. I've heard the term slump used this last week to describe where a lot of people feel like they're at. That word to me, it can mean a lot of things, but my instant association goes to sports. And for me specifically, baseball. One thing you guys may or may not know about me, baseball was actually the sport I played the longest when I was young. Started with T-ball at age 5. I can't wait till we can get kids back together again so Grayson can start t-ball. We were practicing the other day on the tee at the park. Can't wait till he can be around other kids and start that experience. For me, I remember some of my earliest memories are actually playing t-ball. And I played baseball all the way through high school, like consistently. And most of the years year-round doing the all-stars and the traveling teams. And some of you guys, you go, well, Blake, you're not very, tall or big. I was always fast. So I was good at making contact with the ball, and I could kind of outrun just about everything to first base. So I batted first, I batted second. I played second base. High school, moved to center field. And it was fun. It was a great experience. But I remember there were certain times, even though I was really good at consistency, making contact with the ball, there were certain times that I'd go into a slump. And that's a term used a lot in baseball, right? You go into a slump where all of a sudden, like, it just ain't working. You're not hitting the way you used to, as consistently as you used to. And they call it a slump. And, the simplistic way of looking at it, it's not like, your physical muscles changed or you got hurt or injured or all of a sudden there was some radical shift. You see, the thing about a slump is it's almost entirely a mental thing, a confidence thing, where all of a sudden you get in a state where it just ain't flowing anymore, it just ain't working anymore. And you guys, this isn't just a me thing or a little league thing. It's an everything thing. We still see professionals today at the highest levels of all sports that are in a flow, in momentum, crushing it, on fire, and then somehow slip into a slump. How many of you have seen that before, familiar with that term? And, a slump doesn't just have to do with baseball. It doesn't just have to do with sports, right? A slump can be something we slip into in life, right? And the same characteristics where we just don't have that same fire. We're just not putting forth the same effort. We're just not getting the same outcome. We're just not feeling the same way, even though maybe we have the same opportunity or even a greater opportunity or the same skill set or even a greater skill set, the same potential or even a greater potential, but somehow we slip into this slump state. So guys, the opposite of slump is personal momentum. Personal momentum. The zone, the flow, the fire, right? The feeling of, excitement, passion, all rolled up into an enthusiasm, a real, genuine, authentic excitement for the direction you're going. And that excitement, guys, works for you in so many ways. When was the last time you were in a personal momentum in your life? Think about it. What was that momentum? Was that a momentum in your business, in your career, in your finances? Maybe it was a momentum in your health, your exercise, your fitness, your activities. Maybe it was a momentum in your relationships, your significant other, your spouse, your family, your friends. When was the last time you were in a real, genuine momentum? What did it feel like? What happened when you were in that state? And the real question is, are you in that state right now in the areas you want to be in? And if not, do you want to be? There's still time left in 2020 to shift gears, right, and go into a personal momentum, right? So you might be saying, well, Blake, how? If you're in that slump, if you're not in that state, maybe it's not a negative thing. Maybe right now you're not in what you would say a slump that's bad. Maybe you don't even realize. Maybe somehow you just shift down a few notches, right? And you're into a complacency mode, a routine mode, a mediocre mode, a average mode. You're just running through the motions. It's not bad, right? But it's not great. Right? It's not like you're going backwards. It's not negative, but it's not exciting. And you guys, sometimes that's the worst state to be in, because if you're in a place where there's not a lot of pain and it's just okay, a lot of times you don't realize that you're not fully alive. You're not in a momentum. You're not making all that you can be. So whether you're in a state that you want to change, or you're in a state right now where you're like, man, you know what? I can't elevate. Let's talk about how we can shift gears into a personal momentum. I have 5 quick thoughts, right? On if I look back in stages in my life where I've shifted into a personal momentum, in the zone, right? And over 21 years as an entrepreneur, I've gone in and out of personal momentum. I don't even know how many times. And there's 5 things I think that will start as a catalyst to move you in that direction, and it's stuff you can do and implement immediately. So I think the first key to going into a personal momentum, number 1, is you got to find something that genuinely excites you. What is something right now that genuinely lights your fire, like ignites you, like something that you get excited thinking about, something that your mind drifts into thinking about, right, all the time? You got to find an enthusiasm. You guys see a real enthusiasm has to be caught. It can't be taught. Like, you can't give somebody excitement, right? You got to find something that you genuinely get excited about. So that could be something in your work. That could be a business, right? That could be a new venture. That could be a hobby. That could be a relationship. What is one thing in your life right now that you can be really, really excited about? Something that you want to put energy into, something that you want to expand, right? Your time and energy and outcome in that lane. What lane is that for you? Because you got to find something that has an ignition in you, something that'll light a fire. So I want you right now to think of something in your life that genuinely excites you in a direction that you want to expand, okay, in the balance of this year. And I want you to keep that in your mind, because the first thing is we got to find a lane that we're excited about pursuing. Now, after we do that, number 2, we got to set a new goal to focus on in that direction. Now, I know this is basics, guys, goal setting. We all get taught this over and over and over again. But I'll tell you, it doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter what level you're playing at. It doesn't matter how successful, you feel you've become. We never outgrow setting new goals. And the minute you start or stop setting new goals to pursue is the minute you stagnate, is the minute you stop, is the minute you move out of personal momentum. We got to constantly be setting new goals to focus on. What goal in the direction that you're excited about right now are you currently focused on? Now, guys, we're coming to the home stretch of 2020, still time left, but we're also in that awkward phase where maybe you had some big aspirations for this year. Maybe you did the New Year's goal setting thing and you thought about what 2020 would bring. And, maybe right now you're on track. And if you're on track, you can keep that goal. But maybe right now you're off track. I bet there's a lot of people that 2020 threw off track from where we started the year to where we are. And you know what? That is okay. But that doesn't mean we just hang on to something that we don't feel is realistic, put it by our side and don't put energy into it. We got to recalibrate. We got to adapt. We got to adjust. So now's the time to check in with what do we want to accomplish between now and the end of the year? What is a new goal that we can focus on? Guys, the goal should be something specific that you can shoot for. It should be something that stretches you beyond your comfort zone, stretches you beyond what you can simply walk to, but is realistic enough that you can achieve so you don't give up before you start. So my question for you is, in the area you're excited, what is a goal you can focus on between now and the end of the year? If you'd be so bold and want to tell all of us what that goal is, tell us, put it in the comments. What are you excited about right now? And what's the goal you're focused on between now and the end of the year? I'm a fan of what I call going public, meaning publicly declaring the goal that you're passionate about, because I believe that raises our own personal accountability and it elicits support from those around us to help us and encourage us to go after it. All right, so what is the goal? Go ahead and throw it in the comments below. Number 3, right? Once we find an area we're excited, we got a goal to focus on. Number 3, simple. Take action in that direction. Now, I know, simple stuff, take action. But guys, so many people aren't moving in a personal momentum direction because they, quote unquote, don't feel like it. Let's be real here. This year has given us a laundry list of reasons, really valid reasons, not to feel like it. There's so much out there that can suck our energy right now, distract our focus, hijack our emotions, change our feelings, put us in a state where we simply don't feel like it. And so often we wait for a feeling of inspiration to take an action, a feeling of motivation to take an action. But you guys, we have to realize that the equation works the other way around. We don't have to be motivated or inspired to take an action forward. We can take an action forward to become motivated and inspired. You see, motion creates emotion. Taking an action creates a feeling. Sure, we can wait for a feeling to take an action, but you have no control over that. You have no control over when that feeling is going to all of a sudden, boom, hit you like a lightning bolt, but you do have control over the action that we take. And when you take an action, you get a feeling. Motion creates emotion. So when in doubt, just take a step in the direction. Yes, even when you don't feel like it, and magic happens. You take a step and all of a sudden you realize, wow, I can take another step. You start to take a couple steps and you start to see progress. You feel growth. You feel good about yourself because you're moving forward towards something you're excited about. It starts to build a little bit of confidence, change a little bit of feeling, and that feeling starts to say, I want that more. So you got to take more action. So you guys, motion creates emotion. You don't have to feel like it to take a step. Take a step to feel like it. When in doubt, just go into action. Don't think, don't feel, just do the work. Do the work, do the work, do the work, do the work. Don't feel like it, do the work. Want to feel like it, do the work. Number 4, once we start doing the work, learn and adapt. Learn and adapt. But Blake, I might take action and mess something up. Awesome. I might take action and make a mistake. Amazing. I might take action and totally fail or fall down. I love it. Guys, you'd rather be moving forward making mistakes so that way we can learn and adapt than not moving forward at all. You guys, that's expected. Get rid of this old school feeling and belief that messing up is bad, failing is bad, doing something wrong is bad. Everybody does it. It's normal. Mistakes are lessons. Messing up is learning. Guys, all of that is progress. But make sure we adapt. Learn and adapt. Don't make the same mistakes over and over and over again. The point of making a mistake is to learn something so that we can adapt. And you guys, a couple things happen when you learn and adapt. Number 1, learning makes us feel better. Growth, we are built for. If we're not growing, we are dying. And if you're not taking steps forward and messing stuff up, you're not growing. We are built to progress, not to stand still. So what ends up happening is when you learn, wow, you're expanding, right? Your education, you're being stimulated with something new, you're learning, and then you adapt. And when you adapt, you start to improve your results and improve your outcome, which leads to number 5. Last thing I'll give you, personal momentum. Celebrate your small wins and start small. Right, as you start to have a small victory, celebrate the fact you took a step. That's a win. As you start to learn and adjust, celebrate the fact that you're learning. That's a win. As you start to get a result, celebrate you got the result. That's a win. Guys, we got to appreciate the things that we have and the movement that we're making and celebrate the small victories. Because here's what happens. If you celebrate the small victories, you feel good about the small victories and you want to have more victories. And then pretty soon you have more victories and you celebrate those victories. And here's what happens. The victories start to become bigger victories. That's a momentum. A momentum starts with the activity. The activity becomes an outcome. That outcome becomes a win. That win we celebrate becomes a bigger victory, And we start to create this momentum or this wheel of wins that is that magic feeling of personal momentum. What's the personal momentum other than consistent activity surrounded by excitement in a focused direction that starts to generate results, where those results generate more results, where those results start to generate more results? After all, isn't that a momentum? Isn't that what personal momentum is all about in our career, in our business, in our health, in our relationships, and ultimately in our life, right? A personal momentum at its most beautiful form is a personal momentum in life where everything is firing all cylinders. Financial, business, health, fitness, relationship, fun. You want to fire in all cylinders in personal momentum, but guys, we'll get there. We got to start somewhere. What is something you're excited about right now? Declare it. What's a goal that we can focus on between now and the end of the year? Let's recalibrate and go public with it. What is an action we can take immediately right now? One simple small action, a step forward. Let's do it. What can we learn and adapt as we progress? And what can we celebrate? The wins to create bigger wins, to create bigger wins. You guys, these are not hypothetical or rhetorical questions. I'm being literal with all of you today. I want you guys to think about this right now. If you want so kindly to share it, we'd love to see it. I'd love to read it. We'd love to support you as a group. Hey, we can check in where you're at with your goals. Keep me updated. You know I'll ask, right? But don't just listen to this and absorb it and say good thoughts. Listen to this and let's put ourselves into a personal momentum between now and the end of 2020. And the last thing that I'll say, guys, is make sure when you make these decisions and you put these into action, make sure you give it enough time to build. In my experience, and I don't have any analysis or data on why I believe this is the case, I just can say from 21 years of putting myself into personal momentum, helping people give and shift into that state. For some reason, it takes around 90 days of consistency in what we're talking about to put yourself into that momentum. You can't do it start and stop. You can't do it excited one day, off the next day. You can't do it, right? Doing the high and the low. You can't. You got to do it consistently for 90 days, everything we're talking about, every day for 90 days, in order to build that inertia, to build that motion, to build that momentum, where momentum starts to do a lot of the work for you. And that's what I want for all of you, because we got that time between now and the end of the year. It's possible. Starts with a decision. I gave you some simple steps. Let's move in that direction, right? Until then, guys, I hope you have an awesome week. Sun is out here in Santa Monica. Birds are loud this morning. Blue skies. And a great day to make a decision to shift into personal momentum for all of us for the balance of the year. Until the next time we walk together, everybody, hey, stay safe, stay sane, stay healthy, and let's shift it up a couple notches as we go into the home stretch of 2020. I believe in you, I appreciate you, and I want the best for you. And that starts now with moving, right, that wheel forward. Take care, everybody.
Hey guys, one last thing. I'm super excited that this new podcast, Alive by Design, just went live. You see, I designed the show to bring you inspired thoughts and fascinating conversations with the world's most impactful people, to provide transformative principles and practices to help you wake up, move toward your meant to, and feel fully alive. And I'd love for you to help me spread the word now. Simply subscribe, rate, and review the podcast on this platform right now. So if I've ever given you value, please do me this personal favor and go subscribe now. And if you found today's episode helpful in any way, make sure you share this with at least one friend today. You have the power right now to change someone's day. So send them a text message with a link to alivebydesign.com, or simply copy and paste the link right from this podcast platform. Who's one person you know right now that you want to see succeed, that you want to see grow, that you want to see feel more alive? Shoot them a text with your largest takeaway from today and be a light in their day. And if you were referred here by a friend, make sure you shoot them a text back and say thank you. I'd love to hear from you directly on what you got from today's podcast. So if you're up for it, drop by my Instagram @BlakeMallon and shoot me a DM. And as always, thank you for showing up. I'm grateful for you, and I hope our time together today in some small way helped you feel a little more alive. Until next time.